batteries. Check 1, 2, 3. That's HDMI 4, which I do not want to pull. Check 1, 2. Test 1, 2. What about now? Audio now? All right. There we go. All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. John Mark, Dave, Chris, I appreciate that. I don't know. It lost connection to my Rodecaster Pro. Still working out details. Like, that's the key. I don't have a way to test. Yeah, I'm not sure what was going on there, but I've got it now. Loud and clear. Let's start over. Welcome to Tuesday at Two Lines. First 4 minutes was a complete waste of time. I apologize. Thanks, guys, for tuning in and your patience with me. Let's go back to the comments and see what we've got. Let's see here. Hey, no sound. Unmute. So it wasn't that it was muted, Jerry. It was actually, I had to reconnect the soundboard to the device that I'm running this on. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you. Sorry about that. So right about 15 inches at my Southeast Indiana house. Wow. Yeah, we didn't get quite that much, Marty. But we did get quite a bit for us. Rob, good evening. Hey, Ty. Thanks, guys. It wasn't me, Vince. Say what? Yeah, I think I'm back now. No sound. Yeah. Hey, Hank. Glad you're hearing it out. Mic not on, though. Yeah. I just unplugged the USB to the soundboard and plugged it back in, and bam, I was back. So that's something that I got to pay attention to. So it must be when I put this to sleep, it's losing connection to the Rodecaster Pro. Even though it looks like it's connected, it's not really connected. DJ Patrick says it's off again. It went out for just a few seconds. Greg, it wasn't you. So do I not have sound, or do I have sound? I see that I have sound. No sound. There you go. I didn't do anything. 1, 2, 3, test 1. There you go. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. So if I missed you, thanks, Gary. Good evening, Mark Bondi. Guys, thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Thanks for your patience tonight. I'm learning some new I'll talk about that at some point in time down the road. but I'm trying to add some things to enhance the live stream. And thanks for the confirmation. You're a wall to wall. All right. So yeah, the things that I need to talk about. The first thing right off the bat. Hey, Brad. Thanks for tuning in. Brad, the new tracks look awesome. Good evening, Steve. Hey, Bill at Bowtie. Yeah. Hey, Gary. Welcome. Good to have you, Gary. Feel like it's been a while. Some of the things I want to talk about. I want to talk about just some things that the AMSCO race that I know it's clear off in May, but like there's lots of things going on in preparation for that. I'm involved in conversations every day. So guys, we're super excited about that race. And I hope that if you're on the fence about coming, that you'll consider coming to this first race and give these guys a chance. It's pretty exciting. I think it's going to be fun. We've been laying out what the room's going to look like, where Steve and I are going to set up to be able to live stream. So I'm working out like the cameras. And that's one thing I will talk about is we should have 7 or 8 cameras to cover both tracks and announcers. And so I'm super excited about that. But so I want to talk about the AMSCO race a little bit tonight. I'm about 95% finished with the Policar track. And so maybe we'll take the portable camera, which is my phone, over and take a look at it. And I on Instagram today, or maybe it was last night, I posted some just a couple laps. I finished the power taps last night, and I want to talk about the importance of power taps for your track. And I hear people say, "Oh, I don't need them," and I want to talk about like what I was seeing in the Policar track and how many power taps I installed and kind of how I tested it. BS Slots, Steve sent me a message about how he tested his track, and I kind of took that to heart and kind of followed kind of the same thing that he did to come up with where I needed to install them and how many I needed. And this track I need to measure it, but it's close to 100 feet. And I'm running, I did get timing up on it. I've got a USB cable going from the Carrera track computer over to the Policar track. But I did run some laps, and I think that an 8-second flat lap is going to be like really fast. I think anything under 8 is going to be kind of insane, to be honest with you. I ran some of my faster cars. I think that it comes down to tires, getting the right tire combination on some cars might be able to get us under 8 seconds. I'm sure there are guys out there that like Steve and Greg, Josh, Dusty, some of those, all of those guys that come and race and kick my butt on my own track. Ian, if he was coming here, I think that there at John Albright, there are some guys that could really rip it around this track, no doubt. But I'm thinking if somebody gets under 8, like that's going to be the track record. Right now, in one lane, I can run 8.3s. I may have run an 8.2 with one of my best cars. This is no magnets. So we'll jump into the Policar track a little bit. What else did I have in the description I wanted to talk about? The Home Racing World Truck Proxy. There's been a lot of information over the last couple of days come out about that. And Harry had a live stream, or he posted a video today. I think it was a live stream. And we were remembering Pat, our buddy Pat Slots. today here in the States was his birthday. So all of you who are friends with Pat and knew Pat, my thoughts go out for you, because it's a tough day. We miss him in the hobby. He was a bright spot, and so it would have been a great birthday for him. But he's no longer with us. He's in a much better place than we are, to be honest. So shout out to Harry for posting that video today and giving Pat a shout out about his birthday. But George posted a video yesterday that was pretty stern, and the reason we want to get into that a little bit, they got to make sure that people are following the rules, and so the only way you can get people to follow rules is kind of to tighten the grip a little bit on the event. And so I am going to be hosting that event, and I think my part of the event I'm going to run on the big Policar track, mainly because it's going to be something different than the other tracks it's going to run on. And so, yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. I will be building the truck. I ordered it, and I need to order some parts to get it finished. But so I've got one of the Fords coming, of course. So yeah, that's that. Pretty excited about that. And then what else? Yeah, the home racing world, importance of time. Okay, those are kind of the things I wanted to cover tonight. And then of course, wherever the live chat takes us, we will we'll figure that out. We'll go wherever the chat goes, right? So let me know. Picture quality good. Things look great. Because I'm trying to up the game there. I changed my lighting out a little bit. I had a lot of people say something about it last week, that I looked a little crispy, and so I tried to improve my lighting a little bit. So hopefully you guys can see that on camera. Oh, what else do we have? Let's see. Mike number one, isn't that a lot of fun? Hey, Big Oak, what's up, Slot Card Nerds? Chris is already signed up for the race. That's great. Hillbilly Slots is in the house. Hillbilly, thanks for tuning in. Will you guys be doing pit interviews at the AMSCO? Yeah, if you have any questions about the event, throw them in the chat. We'll hit them. Make sure you put a Q in front of your question, just because it makes it easy for me to see that it's not just a comment, that it is a question, because sometimes I can miss the questions. So, yeah. Will you guys be doing pit lane interviews? We have a wireless microphone, and we will be doing pit lane interviews. Yes, that's one of the things that we're going to add, because we got some equipment to do that. And so we're excited about bringing in somebody to help. And we've got a few people that have reached out and said, "Hey, I would like to help you." I can't quite announce who that is yet, because they haven't, they're not 100% sure if they are going to be there yet or not, but they're working on it. So I'm excited about that. So maybe we'll have some new faces that you'll get to be familiar with, helping us pit side and in front of the microphone. Because, you guys know that we have Steve Saltel from Slot Car Corner, channel sponsor, by the way. So Steve is going to be my co-host for that event. And, if Ian is paying attention, we would love for Ian to come back over. He did an awesome job at the Eastern Nats, but I know that that's a lot to ask. And I honestly, I don't have the heart to like straight up ask him. I guess I did via the live stream if he's watching, but man, we had such a great time, the three of us. And then George bailed me out a bunch. And so I haven't talked to George, just, I know that he's considering coming up for the AMSCO. So, if George is coming, he'll be, on the microphone as well. And we got a few other people that that want to jump in and help. And then so what we're hoping to do is provide, since it will be a long day, we'll have so many racers in. We're hoping that we do some sideline interviews with some people, and then we'll get them on the desk and in front of the camera and in front of the microphone and do some interviews. If we have some big name slot car guys show up, I mean, that would be pretty cool. We'd have to get them on camera and ask them why on earth would they come to Ohio. Oh, because it's going to be a great race. That's why. But yeah, as we get closer, we'll, as people register, we'll know who's coming and we'll be able to line some things up. So I'm already working on some graphics for the event as well. So we've sort of just jumped right into the AMSCO event. So yes, sideline reporting, that is the plan. Gary says a question. Uh-oh, where did I lost it? Hey, missed you guys. My phone was down when Verizon had that glitch a week ago. I'm glad to be back. Good to have you back. Even when you think you have more than enough available amperage, power taps are always a good idea for clean power throughout the track. Yeah, John, we're going to get to that. So yes, George, thank you, George. Happy birthday, Pat. Hey, Paul, been a while. Glad you're here. Paul, thanks for tuning in, man. Good to have you, as always. You look gorgeous sounds just like it does when you read us bedtime stories. Thanks, Ian. I appreciate that. Too funny. Dusty says, I can't wait for this race. Yeah, I'm super excited about it. Not just the coverage. I'll let you guys know. I got in on a deal, not a deal, I got in on an order. I've got one of the Lambos coming. And so I'm going to build a Lambo. I haven't decided whether I'm going to build it as a GT3 or a GT4 because I'm a little concerned about the live stream and racing. I talked a lot about that last race where I was doing both, and it was pretty stressful. By the end of the day, man, I was shot. And I can really tell when I go back and watch, pieces of the live stream. I went back and I watched some so I could critique myself, see where we needed improvement, see what I needed to change about how my approach to the live stream. And man, racing, it made it really difficult. But I loved it. I loved the racing. I loved covering it with the live stream. It's just a tough decision. So I'm going to build a Lambo. And if that fat turbo Porsche comes out, I may have to get that. But it looks like is it only coming out with 124 scale? Because that's all I saw. But man, if it comes out 132nd scale before this race, I'm going to be all over that. That's a beautiful car. I'm a fan of that livery. It's one of my favorites. I've got the slotted Group C car in the fat turbo. So what else? I just got my G and S tire truer. Nice. Yeah, man, that's a West Coast. That's a great truer. That's what I have. That's what I've been truing with. It does a great job. I do think that the Mid-American truer or like the Huddy would be great to have as an auxiliary, depending on what you're trying to true. But you can get it done. You can get the job done with the GNS. Greg did an awesome job. Hey, Gary, thanks for tuning in. Glad you're here. Hey, Joey Boots. Hey, get it right. Hey, Jan. Yeah, we've got, hey, Harry, Mark, and we got all kinds of people in here. Slightly Mad. Good evening. Question, can you please explain your video setup, maybe some Saturday? Yes, listen, there are some things that I'm trying to work out. I'm completely changing how I do my live stream. And I'm doing it this week. I did it last week. it introduced some issues and some problems from a workflow standpoint. I was so smooth when it comes to using Ecamm Live. And so I've got a lot to learn. And this week I didn't have as much time to work on it. But I will be, it will be getting better. I promise. And I get it right. I will be doing a video at some point. It might be after the May race, the AMSCO race, or it might be, I might record it at the race so that everyone can see exactly what's going on kind of behind the scenes. Because I think it's going to be, for me and for Steve, it's going to be groundbreaking for us. If we can pull off the things that we want to pull off. So we believe that those who are choosing to come to the race, we want to provide a great product for them. So if they come back, they watch it, all aspects of the race, right? So all the things that Greg and Steve are working on, all the things that we are doing from a live stream standpoint, the venue, everything. We were just trying to make sure that everything is what it needs to be, and it's pretty exciting. But yeah, that's the plan. Does the Callaway Corvette qualify? Jason, yes. It is on the list. Marty, it's cool to see your streaming tech and your event coverage progress. Brad, thanks. I've got some cool stuff to share. I got a package today in the mail, and I didn't have time to get it implemented. I'm still trying to figure it out. I think it needs a software update or a firmware update for it to work with some of the things that I'm doing. Because I tried to plug it in time, and it just wasn't happening. So after the live stream, I'm going to work on it and see if I can't get it. Gary, thanks, man. Okay, I promise, guys. I will. That makes me. I will put something together sooner rather than later. I will get everything working the way I want it to work, and then we'll go from there. Jan says, already done. 100 in the chat. How about some? Man, that's awesome that we've got that many. With this, the new setup I'm using, I can't see how many connections like I can in Ecamm. So there's a few things that I'm hoping that they will address soon. Question. Yeah. So my video setup right now, I have a camera and I have a soundboard and I have a couple of screens and I've got a mess on my desk and it's driving me crazy. But that's all I can share at the moment. We want to talk slot cars tonight. Let's see. Awaiting delivery of the 124 H&R chassis to run on Jay Johnson's track. Nice. We got a thumbs up from Gervais. If not for the channel, make it how smooth Marty's looking boy. That's funny. You guys. So yeah, it's the time. What time is it? It's 8:27. Like I said, guys, we're going to bring what was that? I just saw a comment. Marty, can you show the car types they're racing for the AMSCO event? Hey, Tom. Just in case we have some new guys in here, maybe some info to get started. Okay, well, let's since we're talking about the AMSCO event, let me see. Can I bring up the website here. And I think, okay, so this is the time of the show that I will talk about one of my sponsors. And you guys know that Steve has jumped on board with Slot Car Corner, and we're going to take a look at the website. So a few things to point out. Look at all of those NSR hypercars that are pre-ordered. How many of you, put it in the chat, have ordered your hypercar? And then some great new liveries. The 908 livery that they posted is really, really sweet. I like that. You guys know I'm a 908 fan. But you're talking about the AMSCO event that you can pre-order those now. So if we click here, this is on the Slot Car Corner page. Steve was kind enough to put some information out there on what AMSCO is and how to check them out. And you can click there for more information. And then this is a link to the U.S. Scale Auto GT Sprint Championships. And this will give you all the information on the AMSCO site about where to register, rules, frequently asked questions, and then the schedule for the day is coming soon. The map where the venue is, and some pictures of it is an RC venue, and we are going to set the tracks up right there. But they do have a large Carrera track set up and run on weekly. There's the pit space. There's lots of great pictures of that venue, and you can see what's going on there. There's a lot of room, guys. This facility is really fantastic. That's pretty cool stuff. So that's all right there on the AMSCO site. If you go back and you go to frequently asked questions, maybe. Ooh. Rules. Those links are not. And I think it's just this interface. I don't think it's the actual. But if you go to the frequently asked questions page, that link right there that's visible, you can go and see all the cars that qualify. And it's also on the rules page as well. So you'll want to check that out, guys, on the AMSCO page. But, I mean, shout out to Slot Car Corner. They're doing some awesome things, and they've got some things to announce. Steve, I think, is going to come on next week for a few minutes and just kind of give us an update of what he's got going on and some of the new products that they have coming. But, I mean, look at these pre-orders, guys. I don't know that's going to be a great car. We saw the video clip of Andrea racing it, and I jokingly said, hey, take the magnets out because that thing was locked down. But thanks to Slot Car Corner for being a sponsor of Two Lines. It's really exciting. I'm loving that partnership. And the AMSCO event. If you have questions, make sure you put them in the chat. There are guys out here that will, Greg is out here. He can answer some questions. But, every day it seems like we're getting more people registered. And we have some pretty exciting news coming about that soon. And then, every day we're checking boxes, getting things done, more sponsorships coming in for the event, which is, and Greg says there will be an update, hopefully soon. All right. So, interstate travel ban for me until 12 of 26. All right. So let's talk about the Policar track, and we'll jump into power taps. I set up the track initially in the video that I posted last week with the update on Saturday. And shout out to Slot R, because he texted me. He's like, "What? No video?" And I was like, "Dude, I scheduled that video like 3 or 4 days ago." And for some reason, my YouTube account did not post it at 6 a.m. on Saturday. So it didn't get posted until like almost 1 o'clock, which is about the same time that Dave posts his video every Saturday. And so I felt really bad about that, because when I went out and clicked OK it posted it. And I felt bad. Sean has a question. What is the difference between GT3 and GT4? Sean, I'm going to tell you to go. That question is answered in the frequently asked questions on the AMSCO website. But basically, GT3 is kind of like a faster group. What I mean by that, maybe not necessarily from a driving standpoint, but there are some more things that you can do to that car. The GT4 is more of a, not really box stock, but there are less things you can do to that car, which naturally would make it a little bit slower. But the classes are going to run together based on qualifying, so it'll just be like it'll be like an IMSA event. You know, we just watched the 24-hour, the Rolex 24 at Daytona this past weekend, and that's what makes that racing exciting for me. I was kind of glued to the program in and out throughout the day on Saturday and Sunday. It was fantastic. Great racing, very competitive. But there's something about having the GTD cars, the pros out there, the hypercars, LMP2, and all those classes running together. And so that's how this event's going to be. GT3 and GT4 will be running together, but there will be actually, separate podiums. We will have a top 3 for GT3 and a top 3 for GT4. They'll get recognized as part of the event, and that's pretty exciting. It's going to be a fun aspect of seeing how good people are at driving, and how good people are at tuning. So there's some exciting things that coming with that. What else? Hey, Tad, I see. Otto, the difference is GT4 is closer to stock with some introductory tuning, fixed gearing, and the GT3 has more tuning options, which gets into gear options. That's a great baseline explanation. Digital chips rob about 0.5 to 1.5 volts from the motors. Yes, they do. But I will tell you that it's okay, because when you're running digital, there's no way I could run some of my faster cars digitally and keep them in the lane changers. You would have to slow down for the lane changers, because if not, they would just launch right out of the slot, changing lanes. So it's okay. Ty, yes, what a great Rolex race. It was fantastic. And Penske held him off, held the Cadillac off there towards the end, and kind of pulled away a little bit. But man, it was tight. It was really close. They had a chance. And yes, it's the same car choices. Chris, thanks for posting that. I appreciate that. What else? What I missed. Hey, Tad. Thanks, Tad, man. It's we're talking about that now. So based on the video that I posted on Saturday, I did make a slight change. When you came down that front stretch in front of the driver's stands and you did the cotter pin, which I've got 2 cotter pins, and it was just the way to fit the track on the table. But those are actually kind of fun. I don't mind those. Those are fun turns. And it comes back across the front, and I had this kind of peak. And I told you guys in the video that was influenced by the Slot Cars of Edmonton on Facebook and some of the videos. He restructured his Scaly track at home, and he posted a video last week about it. And I was like, ooh, I kind of like that. And then once I put it in my track, I hated it. I didn't like it. It was very upsetting for the car. And usually I'm like, okay, it's just because I don't know how to drive. But then I ran about 100 laps, and I was like, that needs to be more of an S turn than a big turn with some straights in it. And so I eased that and made it an S turn, and I like it so much better. So if you go to check my Instagram video out today, you'll notice the difference. And that really improved the flow of the track, but it's still pretty technical. And so you come down that one straight back to the left, and you dive into that sharp R1 turn. And I took the R1 turn that was out in that little peak, just because you weren't going very fast because of the turn in front of it, and it just felt choppy. I don't mind the R1s when you can kind of barrel in and then you like have to slam on the brakes and make the turn. That's kind of fun for me. But I didn't feel like it made sense. And so I took that out and I replaced it with an R2, and that smoothed that out. And it's so much better. So maybe we'll walk over there and take a look at it. Maybe run some laps. I don't have a camera set up over there yet, but when I was in that video, you can see, going back to the power taps, you can see the car fade a little bit in some sections. And so when I posted that video, I only had 2 power taps. And so at about 100 feet, you should have power taps around, so there's like 102 track pieces in that layout. And my rule of thumb is about every 25 to 30 track pieces. And so I had one section that had about 40 track pieces in between 2 jumpers, 2 power taps. And I could really see the acceleration got really soft, and I could floor it, and full pull, and the car just didn't accelerate. And then as it got closer to that power tap, you could see it pick up around that corner, and then I had full power. And then on the back stretch, that back corner, I could see I was not getting full power down that big long stretch. And so basically what I did was when I put I mounted the driver's positions, the stands, the controls. When I put those in, I moved where it powers the track. And then I kind of mapped out, I basically counted about every 25 to 30 feet a power tap. So I basically have 3 power taps, jumpers on that track. And I thought I could put a 4th if I felt like I needed it, but I didn't really have the wire. And so I counted out the track pieces. I went down through the table, come up through the table, attached the tap. And then Steve from BS Slots basically said, hey, just take a car and, tape your controller down, full pull, and just take a car and touch each track. And then you can see if you've got a bad connection with your tracks. If you go from one track and you've got, full power, and then you go to the next. Well, what I ended up doing was I took my voltmeter around, and I pulled the trigger and taped it so it was a full acceleration, 100%, 12.1 volts is what my power supply was set at, 12.1. And I went through and I tested each piece of track all the way around, and I could see voltage drops, and it was just in a few pieces of track, but and I found a couple places where I was, probably 40 feet from the closest power tap. And so adding that third tap changed everything. And so that's what happens is, like, sometimes if it's in a technical piece where you're not able to get full acceleration, like we used to have that with the Carrera track. We had a technical place where, like, we couldn't tell that we weren't getting all the power to the car because we were already going so slow through that section, right? But then as we got to be faster and our cars were tuned better and can get through the S-turns quicker, I recognized that those cars are losing power through that section. And so I went through and I added another tap right in that section. And that's all it took. And then it really improved lap times because we were able to pull, all the voltage we needed anywhere in the track. And that's why those are important. Now, I know some people will take and they will put wire and run wire and shove it through each track piece and basically make, like their straights one long piece. To me, that seems like a lot of work for, to get out of installing a power tap, and would use more wire. And so I just think the power taps are easy. It's the way to go. I'll be honest with you. I don't solder my power taps. I basically strip a large piece of the wire back, and then I fold it and twist it so that it's nice and wide. And then I feed it into the track until it's completely buried in that. And so there's enough wire in there. I know it's getting a good connection. And it works great. So 90 some feet of track, 3 power taps, plus, where you about, a quarter of the way around. And I just basically counted 25 pieces of track, put a power tap there, 25 pieces of track, power tap there, 25 pieces of track, power tap there. Then I got to the end and there was like 26, because I think it's 101 pieces, 26 pieces of track. And then I had 0 problems. So that's power taps. Real easy way to do it. It works great, and I recommend it. Even if your track was only like 40 feet, then I would probably put 1 tap halfway around the track. And so at about 20 feet, you got a power tap, and then another 20 feet, and you're back to the start finish line, your CU, or wherever you're powering the track. I think if I had 60 feet, I would probably have 2 taps. 90 feet, 3. 110, I'm probably looking at 4 feet, 120 feet of track. It's just some of those long stretches you would see performance drop in the car, where they would not be getting 12 volts. So loved Daytona Rolex 24, even though the Corvettes and Mustangs had a tough time, but exemplified why folks like multi-class racing as opposed to some of the boredom NASCAR and Indy F1 is king now. Marty, that's actually a great comment, because I really think that IMSA for years was pretty quiet. And over the last, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years, that form of racing has really seen a surge. And I think it has to do with coverage, which is why I think it's important that this AMSCO race and the Eastern Championships and the Western Championships and what some of these other slot car tracks are doing by live streaming their racing is why we're seeing kind of a resurgence, a rebirth of slot car racing in the hobby. There's lots of choices. There's lots of great things going on when it comes to scratch building and 3D printed cars and other things like that. But I think a lot of that is being driven by the fact that there's a lot of racing that you can watch out there. And I think IMSA is seeing that, like Peacock jumping on and NBC, running all 24 hours on Peacock. That was phenomenal. And that's how I keep up with all the IMSA races. And like, I can't wait till Sebring now, right? I'm looking forward to, more of that racing. So I agree. Power taps are all about amp draw over voltage. It's the amp draw that causes voltage drops. Yes, John is correct. Which is why you can take the voltmeter around the track and you can get 12.1 everywhere. Yep. When you put a car on and you pull the trigger, that changes. And that's about amp draw. John, thank you. I didn't mention that. I just mentioned voltage, but thanks for putting that out there, because that is an important thing. Jay says, I did the same thing, Marty. When my times flattened out, I really watched the track. Yes. Yeah, thanks, John. 245 feet. I found 2 slow sections. New taps really helped. Yes. Man, that's a big track, brother. I think IMSA and WEC are the most fun to watch right now. Coolest cars, too, and different. And I think that's what is the appeal to multi-class racing, is because you've got GT cars out there, you've got hypercars out there, you've got different types of cars, right? And I think that is really fun to watch. And so you're watching one race, but you're actually watching 4 races, because there's 4 different leaders out there. And there's something fun about keeping up with that. And the endurance racing with the pit strategy and changing driver changes and things, it just adds a whole nother element that I think is really cool, which we do in our endurance racing by changing drivers. And it becomes a true team effort. Power taps are super important. I run 4 on my big track and 3 on my second track. Yeah. What else? Yep. Toss amp draw in with resistance. Yep. I think, let's see, what else? Question. Can someone point me to a good video showing the process of making these power taps for a complete dummy? I'm trying to decide if I made a video about that with my Carrera track. I feel like it's part of a video that I did. But honestly, I'll make a video and talk about power taps and what I used. I found, guys, like, wire can get expensive, and just to buy a roll of wire, it really doesn't go very far. But I went to Menards and bought a 100-foot 3-wire extension cord, 14 gauge wire. And I think it was on sale, and I think I paid $9 for it. And I was able to make taps out of that. And that was a cheap way to get a lot of wire. And that's what I made my wire taps out of. It's either 14 or 16 gauge. And so it's not super, super heavy, super thick. I've seen guys use speaker wire. The Carrera taps that you can buy are super convenient because they have the clips already soldered on, and that might be worth it. But they're expensive, but they are super convenient because it's actually 4 wire, and you can just one run to that. But I used extension cord, and it worked great. And so you could buy, some longer 6 or 2 wire. My problem is I got a 3rd wire, but again, they were on sale, and I got like $9 for a 100-foot extension cord. And it's tucked up underneath the table. You can't tell that it's orange. And I actually used it for my driver stations too, because, driver station is 3 wire. It was easy. And so that's how I wired that whole track. So consider that. That's kind of a little cheat code. Big Oak says you need to enter slot sync times on the gigantic track of yours. Yeah. Class racing is what we do in SCCA and NASA. It's super fun. You got to have eyes in the back of your head, right? Yeah, no doubt. Your head's got to be on a swivel. That's what my football coach used to say. And he definitely told me that after I got my head knocked off one day. Ford, head on a swivel. I was like, what? Took me out. Hey, KR, welcome. Vince says he uses speaker wire. That's cheap too, usually. But again, that 100-footer that I paid $10 for, that was the best deal. I think I bought 2 of them. And what else? A roll of lamp cord works good. Yeah, Joey, that's a great option as well. You bought Carrera in clips and soldered. Yes, you can buy the clips. My brother Dusty actually bought some of those clips, and we've used and reused those things. Those work great. Is your Lambo going to have a West livery on it? Well, unfortunately, I'm not on Team Dark Side, and I feel for me to have a West livery, that I would have to be on Team West, and I'm not, unless that's an invite. Unless you want me to send the body to you and for you to paint, because I don't have the cars in front of me. They're actually over on the Policar track. Those cars look great. If you didn't notice, the preview for tonight's live stream, the picture in the post was Ian's cars that he sent me, and those cars are beautiful. Is that what are you offering to paint my body? That would be cool. But I actually have some ideas. I'm just not very good at painting. But maybe I'll give it a shot. Jay Johnson, Home Depot sells 16.4 speaker wire by the foot. I live by that. Actually, that's great. Yeah. Our Lowe's didn't have 16.4. They only had 16.3, or I would have bought that. We don't live together, hillbilly. Heaven forbid. That's awesome. 14 gauge power taps are the way to go. Low resistance. That's what I've got, John. 14 gauge. I just glanced over, and there I've got some sitting right here across from me. I only take getting your bell rung once to keep that melon on a swivel. That's Mike is right. You only get blindsided one time, and the next time you're like, I don't miss body paint, Marty. That's funny. I started playing hockey in Canada before helmets were a thing. That may explain some things for you. Greg, I played hockey too. Locally, we did inline hockey, and I got addicted to it. I was playing every Friday night and ended up traveling around on an adult team. That was a sport for me, man. I actually loved it. But we were all old enough when I started playing that I didn't have to worry about you weren't allowed to check anybody into the boards. There was no checking in the league all the leagues that I played in. And so that's kind of nice. I wasn't playing when I was 20. Gary asked, are the AMSCO track plastic? Yes, it will be Scale Auto Pro Track. Let's see here. Marty joins West. Ooh, boy, let's start that rumor. That's the only reason I would join West is they need a guy for last place. That's why. That's funny. I have some West stickers if you want to make yours a West livery. Brad, no lie, Brad. Some of the taps that I do have are speaker wire that I probably bought when I was 18 years old for my truck. Dave says, all my tracks, I've used extension cord. If you find it on sale, especially Menards, I find extension cord there on sale all the time. Sometimes you can find it at Harbor Freight, but it was actually more expensive at Harbor Freight than Menards. Menards was the best deal. Let's see here. What else? Question. If we come race, will you wear a Dark Side West shirt then? Yes. Yes, I would wear that shirt underneath my OKM shirt. I have to be impartial while I'm on the air, Ian. I'm the true gentleman sportscaster commentary. I will, can't play any favorites. But if you show up with a shirt, I'll wear a shirt for sure. Would you show and tell for dummies on power taps and how to set up controller sections for a Policar track? Tom, okay, I will work on that. It will be a combination because I've had questions about the driver stations. And I will tell you that Slot Car Corner, they have diagrams, and so does Professor Motor, that spell it all out, guys. It's not difficult. Real quick, these analog tracks are positive polarity. Carrera tracks are negative polarity. And what that means is when you're looking down in the direction of the track, positive polarity is your right rail is your black wire, and your left rail is your white. All right? And then what most people don't realize is all of the white wires are connected, all the lanes. All of the red wires are connected to the driver stations. And that's all the same run. It's the black wire that's from the driver station to the right rail that makes the car go. All right. So when you break it down, track wiring is super simple. I think we make it more complicated than it really is. So a driver station, which I probably have one, like a simple driver station is so easy to make, to build. So Tom, I will work on that video. Bought 1,800 feet of 14 gauge wires in various colors years ago. Still good to go. That's funny, John. No Menards here. I'm curious. Menards is a Midwest Lowe's, Home Depot. Brad says, wife lifted travel ban. I might be there to race. Marty's your father. What is going on? Oh, this is too funny. You can do a cap from West Marty. There you go. Yeah, Jan, you're right. I could wear a hat. Rob, OKM, period. That's great. It would be great to see you and Todd there, Mr. Douglas. It would be great. How awesome would that be if Ian and Todd made the trip to Ohio? I would be pretty excited about that because Ian and I have talked a lot. Todd and I have talked a little bit. And I have so much respect for those guys and their podcast, one, and two, just the friendship I'm developing with them. It would just be fun to meet them in person and have some fun and together and grab a meal, after practice one night and get to see them race at that event. I think it would be great. I feel like there's this thing between East and West, and there shouldn't be. Like our, yeah, I'm all in. Yeah. So Ian, Todd, I've got a spare bedroom if you guys end up, coming a day early and need a place to stay. You can crash at my place and we'll race cars down here on the tracks. We need to teach different things for the new guys and me. Tom, yeah, I realize that my channel has sort of followed me in my journey. And so early on, I was making lots of videos about entry-level things. And when I was a beginner, and I finally had to admit to myself that I had passed that at some point, and I started making more advanced videos. And so, yeah, I need to do that. Thomas says, I have a surplus of speaker wire. That's what I used for my power taps. Twist the ends into a big loop and jam them into the proper slots. Yeah, and the polarity was correct. Yep. Unless you are going to hardwire your track for positive polarity 3-wire controllers, there's really no need to rewire your track. Yeah, exactly. The very basic fundamentals of electricity is very lacking in our hobby. Voltage, amps, resistance. Hey, Oscar. Hey, thanks for tuning in, man. Digital racing, controllers, etc. I agree with you, and I'll be honest with you. Like I have learned so much about electricity because of the slot car track. I have to say, I've become halfway decent at soldering thanks to slot cars. But you can always run power taps. That's right. Yeah, if you can add one anytime. If you see a section that it feels like you don't have everything in the car, you can add a power tap. I completely agree with that. A sleepover, east and west. Ty, yeah, I just think that a lot of people try to pit us against each other. There's no reason for that. Like, we would love for those guys to come race, and I'll be honest with you, we'd love to come out there and race more often than we get a chance to do that. And so we'll have to make that happen, right? I might have a California trip planned later this year. And if I end up going out there, part of that trip is going to be to go see Electric Dreams and go see Motown and go see Dave Gorley, and visit anybody I can, Jim Rose, right? And meet up with some of those guys at a track and get some laps in, and just as like a goodwill kind of thing, just to meet some people that I've had a relationship over the last couple of years with online and through the channel. And, I'd like to meet Herman. Seems like a great guy. His interview with Marco, I thought, was fantastic. Just gave me a greater understanding of who he was and what he was about. And I appreciate that. So, there's a bunch of guys out there. Ray Lego. We keep saying Ray needs to come on the live stream. I need to bring Ian Todd back on the live stream. I think that would be fun. And if those guys decide that they're coming to the AMSCO race, we will make that happen before they get here, before the race. We'll have them come on and talk about coming to the race. And so if anybody else, signs up, that's coming from a long way, there's some guys I want to, there's some guys coming from New Hampshire and Vermont to this race. I'd like to talk to Dickie. I'd like to, Steve Sweeney is coming, and Christina, and that'd be cool. We'll want to talk to those people when, at the live stream. And George says, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. That's right. Tuesday at Two Lines reruns in the video section. It's funny. Like, I've got some questions comments people are making on old videos, which tells me that there's a lot of people that got slot car stuff this Christmas, and they're now like exploring. And so I've got a bunch of new people that are like reaching out and commenting. And I was like, man, I made that video 3 years ago. It probably it's desperate for an update. because my whole thought process is completely different when it comes to tuning a car now. I've learned so much from all of you out there. I've learned so much about electricity. That's why my hair is white. That's funny. Marty, maybe do some shorts on entry-level stuff so I can share to the Misfits page. Pin it. Yeah, that's a great idea. We Canadians would love to come down there and race. Ty, that's awesome. Like the guys that came down from Canada, I'm hoping that they do that again. I know Joe was considering coming down and making the trip, which would be great to see him again. I think some of those guys got the bug from a racing standpoint. Jan, Jim coming too, that would be great. If you go to Modesto, stop by my place in Wilton. Brad, that would be awesome. Yeah, Brad, your tracks look great. Yeah, when I make that trip, I will make an announcement on if it does happen. I'll make an announcement and say, let people know when I'm going to be there, so I can line up meeting up with some people, because that will be the priority of the trip is about slot car stuff. And then I've got another piece of the trip that will be family stuff if it happens. So yeah, Jan, all great racers, and they all have great like energy for the hobby, right? And that's what excites me about that, is they're all very positive influences in the hobby. They're great ambassadors for the sport, and that's really cool stuff. That's right. One team and one dream for all. I'm late to the party tonight, but I'm here. Well, answer your phone, please. That's very funny. Party is more than halfway over. Yeah, Josh, you're late, buddy. You've missed some of it, but that's okay. We forgive you. Yeah, Dave. I think that tells me that there's a lot of new people in the hobby, and they're looking for those beginner videos. And YouTube is doing a good job of sending those in their feed, right? The algorithm understands what people are looking for, and they're feeding them these videos. And so all week long, for the last 2 weeks, I think, I've been answering lots of new people, new questions. Marty, how do we buy you a coffee? Well, if you go to Buy Me a Coffee and you search for Two Lines, you'll find me. The link is in the description if you're wanting to buy me a coffee. I'd appreciate that. My espresso machine is being fixed. Thank you. Thank goodness. I found a guy here locally. I don't have to send it back to New York. And so hopefully, because of the snow, it's taken a few days extra for the part to get here so I can get it fixed, but it'll be fixed this week, hopefully. Slot Car Misfits, both Slot Car Corner and Professor Motor have track wiring videos on YouTube along with others. Yes. Greg, Marty's 5 favorite cars. At the time, his only 5 favorite cars. That was the big joke of that video. Here are my top 5 slot cars. It's the 5 cars I own. I have a few more cars. I'm not going to count them. We'd love to, but it'll cost big. I'm late too. Jannar, that's all right, man. Thanks for being here. Steve Holzman, I am drunk on Rice Krispie treats. Man, there have been worse things, Steve. Rice Krispie treats are yummy. I haven't had one in over a year. It's been a long time. I love the idea of East meets West. I do too. I think that it would be fun to figure that out. The only issue with that is the United States is a big place, and it's not cheap to travel from one side of it to the other. But maybe we find some place in the middle, St. Louis, Kansas City, maybe even like Denver. I know some people over there. And we find a place and we set up just a fun event. And that would be great. Man, that would be an awesome NSR hypercar race. That would be cool. I think an East versus West would be fun. Mainly because we get to hang out with some cool guys. And girls, hopefully. We need to grow that part of the hobby too. Let's see, what else? Many newcomers this time of year. The key is retention, how to keep them in the hobby. If we all help, the hobby grows. Oscar, you nail it. That's why it's been important for me to make sure that I'm answering the questions that come in a timely manner. I usually check it every day. Usually sit down and, my lunch hour at work, while I'm eating my lunch and respond to comments and try to keep up with them the best I can. I got a little behind over the weekend, but I caught up yesterday. Yeah, retaining them is tough. Unfortunately for some, it is, they're doing it by themselves. And if they don't find their people fast enough, then they lose some traction with it. And like, that's the tough part, I just realized I can't go wireless with my phone because I'm not using Ecamm Live. So I can't go over to the Policar track. It's all right. Tom says, how about Florida? Yeah. People are not opposed to going to Florida. To LAX, over $3,000 to go to LAX. Wow. Yeah, and that's a long flight too. Rice Krispie treats with an apple cider vinegar chaser. Home Racing World had Mike D and his son participate in the winter race. Yeah, which was cool. Mike D, I don't know if he's in the chat, but I'm kind of proud of him. He came to the Eastern Nationals, the Eastern Championships. He came to the endurance race here, and then he entered the showdown. Like, he's jumping in with both feet, and that's great. Wherever the East meets West, it better be warm. That's right. And it better be in the summer. Family wants some 124 and ones they like. Old stuff, dirt cheap, keep them rolling. Hey, that is rare. It is, George, you're right. Like, and that's very, very cool. And that kind of leads me into the last thing to talk about. The next race, that the proxy race, is going to be the NAS trucks, the old school NAS trucks, right? And George posted a video yesterday talking about the rules and how, like, the specifics of it. You have to go to the Home Racing World forum to sign up. You can't sign up through the Facebook page anymore. And so go out there, read the rules, confirm that you've read the rules so you understand the rules. And he apologized about being harsh, but I think that there have been a lot of people that just kind of did what they wanted, and they sent in their car, and their cars weren't really finished, or their cars weren't like, and I was one of them. Like, in all fairness, my Maverick, I was so focused on getting it finished that I was worried about the tires rubbing. And when it got there, Harry's like, Marty, this thing's like a 1/2 inch wider track than it should be. And I'm like, Harry, just put it back in the box. Like, he's like, no, we'll fix it. Mainly because he had it for 6 months till the next one, right? Because it came late. But he's like, yeah, you didn't pay attention to the rules. And like, that was fair. He's right. I missed that in the rules. I got everything else, but I missed the track width. And so he ended up having to fix my car, and that's not fair. If there are 50 cars, that's a lot of cars to have to fix, right? And so like that's what's happening. Like hopefully people aren't upset about that, but I think that like it's getting harder and harder for the guys to build cars on that weekend and fix everybody else's cars. And so with this proxy race, it's going to bounce between 4 different tracks, right? And so they're going to George, and then they're going to go to me, and then they're going to go to Harry, and then they're going to go to Dave. And they're kind of moving across the country. And so they're limiting the number of cars just because of shipping, because you've got to ship these things 4 times and then back home, right? So I think this, what they're doing is good. And I think it's the right thing to do. I think it just makes the whole event cleaner. Now, I have options. I can run the race on my 4-lane oval, which is underneath my Policar track. All I have to do is slide that out, and we can run that track and run the race on the oval. But we know that they'll be running on the oval at Harry's, potentially running on the oval at George's. And then we know that Shotgun Dave now has a road course. And so I'm thinking that maybe I run it on the Policar, because the urethane tires hook up really good on the Policar track. And so I don't think there'll be a problem with those tires. I think it'll be competitive. I think it'll be fun. It is only 2 lanes, not 4 lanes, but we can still run 2 lanes. Dusty and I can do it, or Josh, or Greg, or Steve, or we've got plenty of fast guys that can come over, and I can do the live stream, and those guys can run the cars. And I think it'll be fun, and I think it would be different on the road course. So what are your thoughts? You think that the Policar is the right track to do it in? I mean, obviously, I can set up cameras, lots of camera angles over there, and move the live stream over into that room. No problems. I mean, I've got the big 4-lane here, but I would need to get 4 people to drive, which isn't difficult. And maybe with 25 cars, I could run it on both, right? I just don't know. The urethanes don't hook up great on the Carrera track, so that's my only issue. We will see. We have some plans. I gave them that body and a few for them to build and enjoy. That's awesome. That's right. George, you did give them at the race. What else do we have? Maybe I did slot car first, RC in the early 80s, and came back to slot cars. We kind of did the same thing. Dusty and I played with slot cars when we were kids. We raced in the early 90s, RC, and then we bailed out of that because it got really expensive really quick, and we lost our local track. Let's see, 3K both ways. Ooh, each way. Go-kart programs aren't cheap anymore. Let's see what else. Once I stop paying school fees. Josh says run it on both. Yeah, Josh, I think we might have to. I think that's worthy. Braden, what's up, buddy? Thanks for tuning in. You're really late. That's okay. We've still got a few minutes. We've still got a few minutes. But thanks for tuning in, man. Chris, why not run the proxy on the Policar too? Chris, I think we do run it on the Policar. I think that's like the main race is the Policar. I think that's where we'll get the most performance out of the cars because of grip. And I think it'll be entertaining. So that's probably going to be the plan. DJ Patrick, I'd like to buy a Two Lines tire cleaner. Patrick, send me an email. I think I've got your address. But if you send me an email, I'll let you know how you can get one of those. The Carrera track is seasoned with silicone. Well, you know, I do have silicone tires. I could put silicones on all of them. Speaking of, shout out to Super Tires. Pamela had a great email from Pamela. Pamela added Two Lines and the AMSCO event to her website, supertires.com. Like that was super cool of her to do. Hopefully she's doing great. I appreciate her support. You know, I don't know. Can I get there from here or do I have to create another? Yeah, I think I need to create. Yeah, I can't get there from here because I don't have I have to create the overlay. Got it. All right. Things that I'm learning, right? So Pamela, she could probably provide tires that we could swap out, but I don't want to do that because guys true and glue and true those tires, those Paul Gauge tires onto the rims. So yeah, I'm not gonna do that to 25 cars. So I think that the Policar is the best route to go. And the fact that it's a nice big track now, I think that'll be fun. Thanks, Patrick. Yeah, if you do that, I'll let you know what you can do. How do we get Two Line stickers, setup blocks? Ty, send me an email, thet5guy@gmail.com. It's in the description of my channel, my email address. If you send me, if you send me an email, I can let you know how to do that. I've got a couple of setup blocks already printed up right here, but I have made some changes to them, and so I'll print a few more out. But yeah, my stickers, I just got to go pick them up. I was telling somebody else, the whole sticker exchange, you guys went through like 300 stickers in a matter of weeks with your crazy sticker exchange. And I appreciate them. So I've got stickers everywhere, all over my pit box. And but I ordered stickers. I just haven't picked them up yet. I can't seem to make it over before they close. So I'll get those maybe on Friday. Oh, you mean Marty's? Distance makes the heart grow fonder. Slot Car Corner has setup blocks. Slot Car Corner has the amazing setup blocks, the aluminum. Those are nice. I think 3A3D has setup blocks too. James Tharp says, I think I missed that earlier. Hoosiers. That was from earlier. So I'm excited about that. That's going to be a fun race. And we'll have some guest racers over to do the racing. I think that would be fun. And so, yeah, let me know. Dusty, Josh, Greg, Steve, Daryl, which I haven't seen Daryl in the chat tonight. Hopefully everything's all right. He's snowed in down there in Kentucky. Maybe we get Daryl to come up and run. That would be fun. So, guys, let me know if that's what you're interested in. I don't know how soon. I need to go look at what the timeline is for those when those cars have to be in. But I did order my Ford, so I will be building a Ford truck, race truck. I actually have a couple ideas for the livery, so kind of excited about that. The weather needs to warm up a little bit so I can actually paint. It's a little too cold down here in the basement to paint right now, and I don't have a good way to exhaust the fumes. So that'll be coming though. What else? New comments. Did I get them all? So here we are. It's 9:28. Did I miss anything? Or any more questions? We had, gosh, that went fast, guys. So I know I've got my talking points, or my not talking points, my charge. I need to create a video about my live stream setup. I need to do a video about wiretaps and driver stations, building your own. There is a video out there of building a driver stations for Carrera that I built for Daryl's track, and I put it all in a box and wired it up, and I show you how to wire those up to the track. So you have that that's already out there, and it's pretty simple. I probably can do a better video now because I'm a little better at this than I was back then. But yeah, if you're interested in the AMSCO race, go check out the website, the AMSCO website. Support my friends Steve at Slot Car Corner and Pamela at Super Tires. I appreciate their support of the channel. Because of them, I get to do this. They're helping me up my game, and I appreciate that. And Josh says, "Are you good to go next week?" Yes, Josh, I'm good to go next week. So yeah. Oh wait, Gary's got a question. Glad to get back to the live stream. It's a good one tonight. So good night, everyone. Yeah, no worries, Gary. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being here. So AMSCO, go sign up. If you're on the fence, you got questions, hit me up. Hit the AMSCO guys up. They love to chat about it. They have all the answers. And if they don't yet, Daryl Rogers, were your ears ringing? That's right. Yeah, thanks, Josh. AMSCO132.com. There's the website. If you have more questions, go out there. Frequently asked questions. Go to the rules. Read through the rules. It's not complicated. It's pretty easy. The rules look daunting. There's a lot of pages, but there's a lot of graphics in there to really illustrate what we're looking at, what qualifies, what you're allowed to do to the cars. It's spelled out really well. And yeah, and then Home Racing World. If you haven't signed up, go out to the Home Racing World forums and go build a truck and sign up for the NAS truck race, the 3D printed NAS truck race. I'm pretty excited about that proxy. That's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to work with Harry, George, and Dave. Those guys are great. So I'm looking forward to they're including me in this whole thing. I'm really kind of humbled that they want me involved, and I appreciate it. It's going to be fun, and I will have a lot of fun doing it. So get your cars built for that. Get signed up. There is a cost, but we've got to ship these cars like 5 different places. So it's really about helping cover those costs. So we appreciate that. And then, the Policar track, if you can get your hands on it, it's a good track system. We talk about track on this live stream a lot, and I still love my Carrera track. I really enjoy the Scale Auto track. The Policar track is good. I mean, and Scaly track is good. We have great choices. when it comes to plastic track. And so I think the guys out west, Ian, Todd, you guys need to get you some plastic track so you can get prepped. So if in case you do make the trip to the AMSCO race, that'd be pretty cool. So if you decide that you are going and you want to come on the live stream and announce that, you can do that. We can make that happen. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate you all very much. This has been fun, as always. Tuesdays, I look forward to Tuesdays. The live stream just it gives me a lot of joy, and hopefully you guys get a lot from it. Just the chat in the live chat, even if you don't listen to anything I say, as long as you got a good conversation running in the chat, that's what matters, right? Hey, MTD Raceway, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Chris Holmes, the ambassador, says hello. That's right. Another gray hair to add to the mix. Another fun Tuesday. DJ Patrick, thanks, guys. I appreciate you all. And as I always say, go have some fun racing.